So in this video, I'm using my favorite rogue deck again, Nemleria Madolche, and the highlight of this video is Varudras and how to summon him in one turn. Because usually with Nemleria and Madolche, they lock you out of the extra deck, so it's difficult to summon your extra deck monsters the same turn you summon the Nemleria main deck monsters specifically. So here's the catch. With Nemleria, the continuous spell Dream Tower locks you out of the extra deck, and the main deck monster Devourer also locks you out of the main deck. So if you use Devourer's effect or Dream Tower's effect, you will not be able to summon Varudras. That's pretty much it. With Madolche, if you use Petting Cesar's effect, which if you're doing the Madolche combos, you will most likely be using Petting Cesar, then you will be the only extra deck monsters you can special summon is Madolche monsters. So you will be locked into Madolche, which means you will not be able to summon Varudras again. So there are 3 cards to watch out for that would make it impossible to summon Varudras on that same turn. Now, that being said, the way I would handle this situation is do my Madolche or my Nemleria combo, whatever my hand provides, and then the next turn you can get into your Sky Crisis, your Zeus, your Varudras. Depending on Varudras can only be made with Nemleria, so you would have to make your Nemleria board, and come next turn then you could do Varudras, and then Varudras has a negate, a pop, and if he gets sent to the graveyard, another pop. So that's why I like Varudras a lot. But there is a way to summon Varudras on the same turn that you summon the Nemleria, special summon the Nemleria cards, and that is by not using Devour and not using Dream Tower. If you use them, then you can use Devour, like the card that's on the field right now. I can use Devour as material for Varudras, but it would have to be next turn because I already used Devour's effect this turn. So you see the chocolate in my hand and the vanilla in my hand. Chocolate is Oriler, vanilla is Couette. I can use those monsters I could special summon them, and on the same turn that I special summon them, I can get into Varudras. So hypothetically, if I drew Dreaming Nemleria, who's on top of the extra deck, if I draw her and 1 Oriler and 1 Couette, I can make Varudras. That's the way you make Varudras in one turn. So yeah, now I'm using Droplet on he's using a back row control deck actually, and this is an interesting deck because I had so much trouble with this one. I had a lot of trouble with this one. Luckily, my friend that I talked to about Yu-Gi-Oh a lot, he was online at the same time, and I told him about what was happening. The card that really threw me for a loop is there can only be one. So there can only be one. I can only have one type of attribute monster, and he activated the effect of there can only be one. Like, he was negating all my summons and everything. It was like he was making it really difficult for me to play, and he always caught me with only Devour on the field, and Devour is the only dark monster on the field. Most of my Madolche monsters are all Earth, so if I summon the Earth, then I could just do my Madolche combos no problem. And all the Nemleria monsters are light monsters except Devour. So because I was stuck with Devour. That's why I had 2 Devours on the field and nothing else. I tributed, instead of special summoning for free, well, because I wasn't able to because of there can only be 1. So I tributed the 2 Devours to get the Devour off board. Then I could have Oriler on the field. Then I tributed Oriler to get Pudding Cess, because all my level 10, like all level 6 monsters or higher was not able to activate their effect or do battle. But Madolche, the biggest level is level 5, so I can activate the effects, so I could play through Madolche. And because of that, that was the loophole. That's why he quit. So that's how I dealt with this particular back row control deck. Now we get into the Varudras replays. I already explained how to get into it, but now we'll just visually see how to do it. It's pretty much exactly how I explained it. So see, in this video I didn't have Kuet, but I have Oriler and I have Dreaming Nemleria Realized. That's the one in between the trap card and Oriler. And so if I use that, then I can also get into Varudras on the same turn, which you'll see. So I just normal summon Petting Cessor, then I use Realized effect to put Petting Cessor at the bottom of my deck. Then I could special summon Realized, and when Realized gets special summoned, I can add Dreaming Nemleria on top of my extra deck, just like that. The only thing when I use this effect is that I don't get the continuous spell. So yeah, now I'm able to get Kuet on board, Oriler on board, and now I use the battle phase to get rid of his board, his monsters, and then I use my main phase 2 to do Varudras. But I could have done it in main phase 1, but I just needed an extra body to clear his board, if that makes sense, right? So that's how I chose to do it. On the same exact turn, you get Varudras. So you can use Kuet, Oriler, or Realized to make Varudras with the Nemleria. And I could honestly add more support with level 10 monsters like Dreadnoughts, right? Things like that, of that nature, which I'm considering to do, honestly. Like, because I'm already enjoying the Varudras, so I'm having more fun. So see, I negated with Varudras, and then I used the second effect to destroy the monster that was on the field, right? He'll still continue to play, but it's still a pretty big interruption to deal with, right? See, he only has 1 card in his hand. He was able to set 1 trap. We'll see how it works out, right? I drew into Ash, right? Varudras has no more materials. So what I'm doing is, so I Ash his trap card. I'm about to enter the battle phase to clear his monster zone. And then I can also activate Zeus, but that would be a 1 material Zeus, but it's kind of a follow-up. I could have left Varudras, and so if he was able to destroy my Varudras, I would be able to destroy 1 of his cards. But if I make Zeus and he destroys 1 of my other monsters that isn't Zeus, then I can attach that material to Zeus, and then I would just clear his board, right? When I detach 2 materials. So right now, Zeus is just there as a follow-up. I could have done it either way. I decided to do it this way because I don't use Zeus that much, so I felt like, let me use Zeus and see what happens, right? I didn't end up getting to actually use Zeus's effect. He didn't end up really destroying my cards. I played it pretty well, but yeah, I was hoping that I would. So I used Nemleria Repeater has 3 effects. I banished 1 to get Oriler out of the graveyard into my hand, special summon him because Dreaming Nemleria is on top of my extra deck, and yeah, I was short to end it, but next turn I should be able to end it, right? Nemleria Repeater's second effect, I could banish 2 and half the amount of damage that I would take on that turn, and then the third effect I would banish 3 and send 1 level 10 beast monster to the graveyard to negate all of his monster effects that are on the board currently when I activate the effect. So pretty good floodgate. Deals with unaffected monsters if you use the effect before they get summoned. So if you chain to a poly, for example, it would negate the monster that comes out, like a Liger Dancer or something like that. So yeah, again, I have a good hand for Nemleria. I have 4 Nemleria cards, two of them being starters actually, but the magic card, the second card to my left, that's the better starter, right? Sweet Dreams Nemleria gets me Dreaming Nemleria to my hand, which then I can P-scale summon and then use its effect to activate Dream Tower, which is the 4th card from the left, or the second card from the right. Yeah, I could set that for my deck using Nemleria's effect, which is good because even if I have it in my hand like this, if it gets outed, then I have it again. I could just set it next turn. And then Nemleria Repeater, having it in my hand is good because then I don't have to search for it using Devour's effect, because Devour I need to, so that's Devour right there. I would need to tribute, like I would need to send one level 10 beast monster from my hand or field to the graveyard in order to set Repeater to the field. So I like drawing into Repeater, but honestly sending it to the graveyard isn't that big of a deal because I can end up just getting it back from the graveyard using Repeater's first effect. That's kind of the idea. So yeah, he was able to clear my board, but I had another special summon. So Dream Tower, every time my opponent tries to destroy a Nemleria monster, I could protect it by banishing 1 card. So that's the Dream Tower's second effect. Its first effect is banish 2 cards from the extra deck and search 2 Nemleria monsters, level 10 beast monsters. So I'm using Nemleria Repeater's effect right now. Yeah, this is a Flame Swordsman deck. Not really like a huge meta deck, and yeah, see, I used its second effect for any time I take damage, I half it, and I was using Dream Tower's effect to protect Oriler. Every time he tried to destroy it, I just protected it instead. So that's why when he crashed into Oriler, I took the damage because it's in attack position. If it was in defense position, I wouldn't even take damage and he would still be on the field, but I knew I would be taking damage. That's why I used Repeater's second effect. You could only use, Repeater has 3 effects, but you could only use 1 of those effects once per turn. So you have to be kind of calculative on what you're trying to do. Devour, I can banish 3 and special summon him from the graveyard, which is massive. He always comes back unless you banish him. So yeah, I banished all my extra deck monsters. Now Dreaming Nemleria is active on the field. I chose the right time to do it. Like, I know he has no interruptions to like stop Dreaming Nemleria's effect. And for every card I banish from him, I get one of those banished cards that I've been banishing from the extra deck, I get them back. And then I use Sweet Dreams effect in graveyard to put her back onto the extra deck, Dreaming Nemleria. So now I could use the effects again, like I could protect my monsters, I could use Nemleria Repeater. So that's how the cycle happens, and that's why I like Nemleria engine a lot. So now I'm just this was unnecessary. I just made Varudras in the end because I like the animation and stuff. But yeah, I just did it to flex on him pretty much. It was totally unnecessary. The first one was actually calculated and it made sense to do it. That one was just for fun. But yeah, I really like this deck, and I would recommend it. But that's the end of this video, and I hope you enjoyed it.